Welcome to Hardiman House and to the 7th episode of Let the Ancestors Speak. In this episode, we're going to be doing a virtual tour of some of the artifacts that I have gathered as I have gone to various communities around the world. I was very blessed to grow up in a community that was committed to the notion of seeing each other through as opposed to seeing through each other. A community that was grounded and sustained by rituals and protocols. I am currently blessed to be in a community here in the Pacific Northwest that also serves to me as a model that rituals and protocols are what sustains and maintains a community and community growth and a people's well-being. So today, what I'm going to do is take you on a tour of the communities that I encountered in South Africa, in Kenya, in the Cameroon, and in Senegal.
Action.
One of the communities that most impressed me in my travels were the Ndebele community of South Africa. The Ndebele were part of the Zulu tribe and were fierce warriors. They fought the Boers for many years, and it took over a decade for the Boers to defeat them. When the Boers defeated them, they punished them relentlessly. They exiled them to a land that was barren and monotone. And the Ndebele refused to let the Boers define them. And so the women started painting these amazing geometric shapes on their houses that defiantly declared, "We are Ndebele." And not only were the shapes declarations of identity, but the shapes were also communicative tools to let a secret language to let the Ndebele know what was going on in other places, or as passers-by came by, they would see the signs and read them and know what to do and where to go. Much like the way the women in the South did when they made the quilts and hung them out on the lawns to let people know about directions and information about the Underground Railroad. So I was so impressed with the Ndebele and this way that they had of re-imaging their identity that I, in my role as the director of the Evergreen State College Tacoma campus, worked with Melanie Denise Cunningham and our students and Elton Gatewood and people from the community to write a grant to bring the Ndebele to the hilltop of Tacoma so that they could help re-image the hilltop that had historically been seen as a place of barrenness. And so the Ndebele came to Tacoma, and we put a mural on the outside of the building that talked about the hilltop not as a place of gangs and violence and destituteness and poorness, but of a place of cross-cultural dialogues, of ethnic diversity, and of social and moral and spiritual consequence. My trip to Kenya taught me more about rituals and protocol. I learned about hygienic rituals that are practiced by many, in many African homes that involve the fact of you're entering, someone greeting you with a bowl and water, and you're washing your hands and drying your hands before you go into the house and be prepared to eat. I not only learned about such rituals as for personal hygiene like that, but I learned about rituals about how you greet and treat the elders. The notion of making sure that the elders are served first, to making sure that the elders are comfortable and waited upon, and that the elders are respected, is totally throughout the Kenyan community culture. I learned about eldership the hard way. When I was in Kenya, there was a woman named Don Maurice, and she was an elder in the little community. And I like to, when no one is around and I'm just sitting out in the sun, pull my skirt up to above my knees so my legs can feel the warmth. And anytime I was doing that, even if I was alone, Don Maurice would appear out of nowhere and pull my skirt down. And I thought she was being a prude and was making a judgment, a negative judgment on me. When in reality, she was affirming my potentiality as an elder. That in some way she saw me as an elder in training, and therefore there were certain protocols that she was trying to teach me about how one carried themselves, how one acted. The ritual in Kenya also has to do with the death and the grieving. I can remember being out on a ledge overlooking the ocean, overlooking Lake Nyanza, and watching a funeral boat go by, and the women were wailing and wailing and wailing, and all of a sudden you heard this wailing from the shore about a mile away, and people were greeting them, and so it was both spirits were like coinciding in order to make the transition from life to death a smooth and harmonic one. Those three rituals, the idea of making sure that your hands are clean before you go into a home in order to protect that home. Those rituals of understanding that elders maintain the order and the sequence and the intergenerational transfer of knowledge of a community, and understanding also that a community can not only be excited, but they can grieve. I learned a lot from my Kenyan experience. These are some of my favorite community artifacts. These are from the Cameroon, and they are part of the Benin brass figurine continuum, which exists not only in Cameroon, but in Mali and Benin and Nigeria. And one of the reasons why I love these community figurines is because they talk about the necessity of the celebration. Is that when you work hard, you have to play hard. When you are in situations where you are focusing all on your right brain, you have to do your left brain. It's the yin and the yang of life that these particular figurines celebrate. And this one is my very favorite because it has the upraised hands, and the figurine is balancing on humankind, and saying that that's our goal, that's what the community does. The community brings us into balance. And this hand raising is the symbol that's used in the meta-nature in ancient Kemet for the ka, or for the spirit. And so that's what communities do. They help to uplift the spirit. They help to give us our identity. They help to give us the rules and regulations and pathways. And they help us ascend so that we can renew. The last artifact that I'm going to share with you is from Senegal. This is one of my favorites. My friend Rochelle and I went to Senegal, and we went to Gorée Island. And instead of going just to the dungeons and the door of no return, we decided we wanted to spend the weekend on the island so that we could see what life was beyond the dungeons. And it was incredible. At night, we walked by and saw little kids playing foosball out on the lawn in the park. We saw people riding by on their bicycles. We saw school kids walking and giggling. And we went up to the top of the mountain. Above the dungeons, there was a whole artist community. And what this artist community did, they took old thrown away things. They took old paintings and this was a tourist depiction of a woman at work that was sand painted, and the artist found it and and use the material to take knives and forks and things from the dungeons and recreate them, taking images of death and turning it into life. And that's what our communities do. Our communities renew us, and we basically support their renewal by practicing rituals, by observing protocol. So if we think about what we just saw, then the next question may be, what do the answers want us to know? I think what the answers want us to know is that community is a very important thing, and that we need to strive for it. We need to fight for it. We need to learn how to stay in the room. We need to need how to make a covenant with our community, with our people, so that we can sustain, maintain, and restore and resurrect whenever we need to. Because our ancestor did it, so we can too. Ashe. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.